Good design matters because there is a flow, especially in magazines, a structure that makes sense to the reader. You can't make it hard for them to get the words and the content in their brain. And so you don't want too much on a page. I wanted things to make sense, a table to be readable, just basic structural things. And something may look pretty, but if it doesn't make sense or isn't readable, what's the use? I'm from Wathena, Kansas, across the river here, and I have 4 older brothers and then a younger sister. We were poor, and we didn't have indoor plumbing till I was 9 years old. Raised cradle Catholic, went to parochial school in Wathena until 6th grade and graduated from Wathena High School. And because my folks had no money, I was the first one to go to college. My home ec teacher did some legwork, found out that St. Mary College in Leavenworth, Kansas, I could go free with a BEOG grant. So off to Leavenworth I went, thinking I was going to pursue chemistry, biology, or something rather than become a chemical engineer. So my freshman year, I think I changed majors 4 times. And then a kindly nun, Sister Rebecca, she said, you might be interested in this course called A Creative Life. I always knew I could kind of draw. Really brought out the design side of me, and so my major changed at the end of my freshman year. I worked nights at a company here in St. Joe called Peachtree Door, and that's where I met my husband, got married in 1981 in September. Bought the house that we still live in 41 years later for $28,500. My first real art job was at a place called KLM Silk Screening, and they did decal work. I learned how to cut rubylith or amberlith acetate layers that broke out the color from the black and white base art. I was pregnant with our son Michael, and he decided to come 6 weeks early, and so KLM was not ready for me to leave. So looked in the classifieds, and here was this teeny little ad advertising for Paste Up. Had an appointment with Cheryl Oxley. She took me in on a whim, I think, because I knew how to cut amberlith, and that was the way magazine production was then. You needed to be able to use a knife. I started at $3.50 an hour. Thought it was fantastic. Worked downstairs, 1985. Most of us smoked, which, you know, we always used to laugh about the wallpaper being yellow down there. I kept my head down because it was just like, this was something new I was learning. I must have done a good job because 6 months after I started, gave me a raise to 4, and I saw the letter where Garwood offered me the editorial position. I knew nothing of what I was jumping into. Magazines, it was just out of my wheelhouse. I took the job. My first editor was Jim Cotton. Because I was such a novice, he really showed me design because he was a magazine guy. Everything was cut and paste back then, and you used a waxer and a brayer, and you'd burnish things. One thing they ingrained in my head that I carried with me is your editorial needs to look different than the advertising. You want to be able to pick up a magazine and know you're reading editorial and that this is an ad. In 1997, Shauna Rose came on board Hermel, and we've been together ever since. When I was hired as the editorial person, I was working for the Angus Journal. That was my main focus, my baby, until 2018, when they decided to split the Angus Beef Bulletin and Angus Journal into 2 separate staffs, and Shauna asked me if I would go with her to the Bulletin. From the time I got my full-time position in '86 to 2018, I was in charge of 384 Angus Journals. I was ready to slow down. Going on to the bulletin staff made it easier because there wasn't as much work all the time. And then when my mom passed away at 97 years old, something clicked in my head. I want to be a little old church lady like my mom. When you have faith to fall back on, it makes it easier to lead, but you want to make sure that everything's in good hands. It'll all be good. There's another generation coming. I feel like being here has affected some other people. A smile or a goofy story or bringing my dog in. I started at this position and I'm ending at this same position. I never wanted to manage. I was just happy to be doing what I was doing. You know, Terry Cotton started the same year as me. He was general manager in '86. And something that has always stuck with me, when you think about the place you work as being a family, when my dad died in 1994, Terry Cotton was out roaming the countrysides, and he stopped in Wathena, Kansas, came through that door at the visitation. I will never forget it. And there have been many moments like that. I don't know, I just wanted to work, make a living, you know, raise our son. It was just to work and make a living and a life, and I got so much more.